I didn't know that I had lost my way. Thought everything was gonna be okay, but life was empty. I filled it up and carried on. The pain kept coming, I was going down. I held so tight, kept falling to the ground. I knew I had to change, I knew I had to let it go. And now I found a better way to wash the ego pain away. And then I found the words to say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. I feel so free, remember every day. The moment all the pain was washed away. I shine so bright now, and I want everyone to know. You've got this living deep inside you too, and it's so easy just to feel brand new. Commit surrender to your divinity within. And then you'll see a better way. Things you don't need will fall away. Your eyes will open and you'll say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. Oh, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine.
Welcome, everyone. Great to see everyone. It's wonderful to have such a faithful following of where you're going and where we're headed, and coming on board and enjoying and joining in this global transformation. And that's what this is about. 1,000% is a global transformation. And it gets more and more exciting at our end as to what that looks like, and that raising of humanity's consciousness, bringing that light. And the more that join this group of enlightened individuals, the brighter the planet will become. And you know, there was just a small thing there this morning where I was when I went to the gym, and they were playing a war movie, and I was thinking, wow, like here's these guys in tanks, you know, trying to kill each other, and I'm thinking, wow, can't get much darker than that. Can't get much darker than that. And rather than trying to stop the the tanks from the people in the tanks, soldiers, to killing each other, it's like, well, we raise our light. We raise our light. That's the one we are 100% control over all the time. And that's exciting when you see numbers and faithful followers, and especially, I believe we're almost ready to the program that's been set up to do this, where you will be compensated for the people that have seen changes in you, have seen those changes, have like remarked, commented on, wow, you look so different. Like, what's different? What's different? Well, what's different is you being in your light. That's the difference, and they can see that. And like I've said different times, especially children, it's so wonderful, these kids coming up and just staring at you, and yeah. So thanks, bud. So anyway, congrats. We're changing the format up a bit. Let you know a little later. Make it simpler and easier. Not so found that the 2 hours can be a little long at times for some. So we'll let you know as we go here to make those changes. So right now it's like, okay, what are some of the things that's going on? So, well, there's a question that gets asked to me a lot because people recognize something about me, but they don't know what it is. And the first thing they do is like, what religion are you doing? And thinking that it's a religion thing that's happening. And yes, I was heavily engrossed in a religion growing up. It was strict Irish Catholic. I was, I was an altar boy for 8 years. Once at one time, searching. I didn't know I was searching for this, but I was searching, and it was like, yeah, I went to mass every day for a whole year. Every day, never missed a day, because I'm this committed person. Like, once I make a commitment to something, like, it's okay. Jamie's the same. Once it's a done deal, we're done. We're doing it. And so I went to communion, church every day for a year, went to communion every day for a year, went to confession every week for a year. I mean, the priest actually told me, Don, you do not need to come to confession every week. The priest said that. And but I was searching for something that was missing for me. And I've taken a lot of programs in that search. My reality therapy, choice theory, neuro-linguistic programming, brain-based learning, just on and on and on and on. A couple, I forget what the name of it was, some kind of couple training. Yeah. And my wife and I went to New York to do this couple program. Unfortunately, it didn't work for us. And but one of the things is that most of the programs are intellectual. I mean, the closest I got to not intellectual was the neuro-linguistic program, and that's where I perfected that piece around the shifting the pieces around neurological rather than intellectual. And that's when I started, and that's where I come up with the how to reverse engineer near-death experiences and phobias. That's how I did it. It was like, it was the neurolinguistics of, yeah, like that it's neurological, not intellectual. And then I just perfected the piece around near-death experiences, and it's like, okay, 1 second. It's not a minute. It's not an hour. It's not 3 hours. It's not 10 hours. Not 3 months. None of that. It's 1 second that a phobia gets created. And you know what's crazy about this? You know, most people question and question and question. Yet, I don't know what this number is. But from my experience talking to people and whatever, I'd say about 90% have a phobia to something. Now, 80% of them don't even know they have a phobia. They're just scared of something. They're just scared. And it's like, whether it's snakes, bugs, heights, worms. You know, where I was in last week, where my sweetheart is right now in Iserland and Tidaluk, and there was a tree there, and there was these, it was on top of Divinity Mountain, actually. There's a big tree right there. And here were these green caterpillars, you know, they're about that long, and they were going like this on a leaf, and they were all freaking out, especially the women, freaking out at this green caterpillar. And then I just stepped up and got one, took it off the tree. I said, "Is this the one you're talking about that you're terrified is going to kill you?" Like this, you know, this caterpillar going like this. And that's the ridiculousness of the intellect. The intellect and its attempt to protect. Imagine that you, whatever it is that you had a fear of, whatever that is that you got terrified of, almost exclusively before the age of reason, which is somewheres around 4 or 5, around there, depending on your development, might be 6 for a few, okay? And you got terrified of something. What happens is sometimes it's physical, like let's say your mom or dad beat you or something, but then you'll put it in the category of a snake or a rat or something. So that's how that ego works. And then what happens is it keeps reminding you of that to show you that it's terrifying and you need to be on guard all the time to be able to protect yourself from it when it happens. But that on guardness attracts it to you. That's the ego. That's the ego. And it's pretty full-on crazy to think about these intellectual programs that we have. And we have them for, well, I think the longest one was 84, age 84. It was the longest that one person had this phobia. And it, like the rest, was gone in a second, but she had it all that time, 80 plus years. Think about that. Like, wow, going through life terrified that you're going to die by a bug or a caterpillar, or like my dear friend Nina, a seaweed. Like, think about that. Terrified of seaweed. So here's this seaweed. If she saw moving seaweed on the water, freaked out. That's how illogical those programs are. And yet that's what we're relying on for protection. Isn't that crazy when you think about that? And so So this is about unraveling those programs and tracing them neurologically by bypassing the intellect. Yes. So where else is the intellect distorted? And where else does it cause all these problems for us? And what it is we're outside that programming of who we truly are, which is our divinity. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. We have these intellectual programs and beliefs, both negative and positive. And 90% of the population thinks they got it made by going from a negative belief to a positive belief. Yeah, just hold that. I'm good enough. I'm good enough, rather than not good enough, or I'm loved rather than I'm not loved, or I'm safe rather than not safe. On and on. I'm trapped or I'm free. Okay, I'm freed, I should say. And they just keep playing out. And you will, once you become aware, if you don't change it, but become aware, then you'll know how your interaction with your spouse is, interaction with your children, interaction with authority, interaction with people, like somebody with cancer, and it's like, oh my God, do I have cancer? Oh, I got, and it's all these ego, fear-based programs running. Yeah, they never stop. They literally never stop. You know why they never stop? Because they never work. Like, doesn't that make sense? Like, yeah. And then it's even full on when a person's in this process, because it's trying to get your attention that what this guy is talking about in pink, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And you're right, it doesn't make sense. But it does if you look at it from the perspective of, I've had phobias created by clients in the womb. Now, what kind of message did you get in the womb? Hey, I'm not wanted. Mom wanted a girl, it's a boy. Dad wanted a boy, it's a girl. Or it's scary out there. So in our case, like there was 10 children, mom and dad, and it was violence, like literal violence. And so, like, think about the what that would sound like in the womb, the screaming and yelling and fighting and arguing and throwing chairs, and yeah, like my oldest brother and my dad, like knives, and yeah, like brass knuckles, I mean. Yeah, my brother come home, 16, brass knuckles. Okay, come on, let's go. Him and dad at it right in the kitchen, in the living room, or dining room. Yeah, and broken oven doors, and glass was flying. Like, yeah, like what's that like for a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old, or 4-year young, I should say. Yeah, and how do you deal with that? What do we do? And so we create all these illusionary protective mechanisms. But by holding on to them, we attract them. And many times in your relationship, you attract the person that you had the difficulty with in your home, the mom or the dad or whatever. And then I attract the person into my life that has a similar program running. And And we do the same thing with our spouse as we did with our parent. So, and I believe I told a story once anyway. It's there was 3 girls older than me, and right older than me. So there was Rita, then there was Ivan, and then there was Phyllis, Janet, and Caroline. And Carol was a fighter. She was a fighter. She just fought Dad every time, like every time, all the time. And one day, they were screaming and yelling at each other. We lived out in the country in Prince Edward Island, and Dad was trying to tell her that she was going to date this Polish guy up the road. And Carol said, I'm not going near that guy. You're going to do what I tell you. You're going to start dating that guy. And Carol said, not a chance am I going to do that. And they just started screaming and yelling at each other. And she just gave him the finger and ran out the door. And he said, I'm going to kill you. And he ran out the door and he got in the car. It was a Dodge, a 48 Dodge or something like that. And here's Carol running up the road, and I'm running up the road after her to protect her. And Dad jumps in the car and starts driving up the road, and he gets to where she is. And I got in the middle of Dad, the car, and Carol. He started coming towards me, towards us, to run over her, but I was his favorite, and he stopped. He stopped. But he had full intentions of running over his own daughter because she wouldn't do what he wanted. Now, imagine that kind of environment. Imagine that environment. And it was no different with our neighbor across the field. Lewis was such a tyrant. And and his oldest sister, Carol, I was with him one day. We were out in the barn playing floor hockey, shooting the puck, shooting the ball as a puck and whatever. We were all hockey, very much into hockey and baseball. And it was a spring day, and it was mud everywhere, like on PEI. It's Prince Edward Island. It's red clay mud, and it had rained the night before. Charlotte had just finished scrubbing the floor. Lewis comes in with his boots on, muddy boots. And he opens the door, and Charlotte told him to take the boots off. Nope, not taking my boots off. And Charlotte said, I'm telling you, take your boots off. And he said, nope, kept coming. And she grabbed, there was knives and forks right beside her on the table. She picked up the butcher knife and threw it at his head. And he went down like this, and he couldn't stand up, like it would have went through his forehead. Okay, so like that's what we grew up in. Like what do you expect is out there in the world? And so we get these programs. We create these programs, but they're created instantly neurologically, not intellectually. That's why talking about them and all of that is of little value. It takes forever, and most times it doesn't work. Okay? But if you go to the origin of what that program is, that I'm not enough, I'm not loved, I'm not wanted, I don't deserve good things, whatever, okay, then you will keep attracting that. You will keep attracting, and you will have 1, 2, or 10 relationships, and they'll all have the same theme. They'll have the same thing in them. Same theme. And you will have this, he doesn't love me either. Or I have to be perfect to be loved. Or whatever. It's all these beliefs. So going from I'm not worthy to I am worthy doesn't do it, because you're still scanning for where I'm not worthy, or I'm not loved, or I'm not deserving, or the biggie is like I'm going to die. There's somehow, some way I'm going to die. None of it logical. None of it logical. So it's like tracing the program, whatever it is that keeps coming up for you, to trace it to its origin. Now, whether that's at 4 or 8 or 10 or 3 or birth, you know, or it's in the womb, like I said, in the womb. And think about cesareans or whatever. It's like, wow, what's that message? Because that little being in that womb is picking up the energies outside, and it doesn't have the senses of what it even is. And so they just keep happening over and over. And when you shift them, it's absolutely amazing. The stories that I have been told after they remove these programs and what happens. And then there's another one that I do, because it's not just the person that I'm dealing with at that moment, the husband or the wife or the couple. I almost always try to get a couple to do it together, because just doing the half doesn't work as near as well. It needs to be both. And at the same time, he cleans his up, she cleans hers up, and all of a sudden, wow, it's all different. And so tracing this back and cleaning it up, and it's amazing. It's like you just see the glow and the vibrancy and the richness, and them hugging each other and crying together from delight, from excitement, from, oh my God, I'm free. I'm free. So anyway, I'm telling you, it's very exciting to be able to go from, well, there was the lady that I work with was 93, 92, 93 was the oldest one that I'd worked with. And to see her shift that energy and what she looked like. And then, and having that all those years, all those centuries, those programs and patterns. Like, she was the first police officer in Calgary, female, first female police officer in Calgary. And she had all those programs running for 90 plus years. Yeah. So they follow, and just saying, I'm going to change my thinking on that. It's, yeah, don't work. And if it, at the best, it's temporary. At the very, very best, it is actually temporary. And so it's like coming back to how quick did it happen? Well, I'll tell you how quick it happened. Boom! There was some kind of a shock to the system. There was some kind of a shock to that person. Okay, whether it was a noise or a yell or a sound or a scream or just that subtle, oh, it's another boy. Or, oh, it's another girl. You know, like, oh, I wanted a boy or I wanted a girl. That's how subtle this is. That's how subtle it is. And it wouldn't even have to be voiced. It would only have to be thought. Oh, here I thought I was looking forward to a boy. I was looking forward to it being a girl. And guess what the message is for that boy or girl in the womb? I'm not enough. And then they spend forever trying to be good enough, trying to match, trying to fit in so they can be loved and valued. Because while they're two different needs, they're connected. They're connected. That's how that works. And so it's pretty crazy when you think about how these programs all happen. And then they just keep repeating themselves over and over and over and over again. You know, whether they're in careers, health, relationship, whatever. They just keep happening. Or on the other side, they're driven. I've worked with many pro athletes. Like I worked with in 15 different sports. 15 different sports. I'm talking about at the pro level, at the pro and Olympic level. 15 different sports, multiple athletes. And that drivenness. And you would think that it would be harmful to remove that drivenness. But unfortunately, in that drivenness, because they're forcing, it creates injuries and those kind of things. It creates lots of things. But when you shift it, what I do is I have three codings, three different states that I get a person into. And I use this mostly with athletes, but I did it a little bit with one of the ladies the other night on money. Was it Amy or somebody? I can't remember. Okay. And I just pulled out the coding for her money. And it was, I forget what it was exactly. I don't pay attention to that detail other than in the moment as I'm doing those things. And so with a pro athlete, I take their worst game. And most times when they show up to me, they're in a slump. So it's easy to get the worst game because they're in it. They're in it. And they can do whatever they want or whatever they can, but almost always it takes a long time to break out of a slump. So, and I extract the slump. Then I ask, it's been a while since I did it, but I think it's around 32 questions I ask for each state to pull it all apart so they can easily see how they're doing, what they're doing, and why they're doing it. And then in the middle one is their average game. Okay, they're not in a slump anymore. They're playing an average game. And I ask all the identical questions for that. And then the next is that, how did I get 7 goals last night? And I extract that. I extract that state. So we got their slump state, their average state, and their super state. And there is not 1 ounce of similarity to any of those 3. And it's in that third one, they're super, like they're, how did so-and-so get a hat trick last night? How did he do that? And you ask him or her, and they will say, I don't know. I'm just going to try to repeat it. but no idea how they did that. And so this coding allows that to take place. And I anchor, of course, each of them, each state, and then get them to evaluate, which is very, very, very important. Before I shift anything, I get them to evaluate each of the states. They get to decide which one they want to be in. Because if, for example, they want to stay in their slump for whatever toxic reason, then I have to leave that the way it is and not do anything about it, because it'll create an internal conflict. So yeah, I've done this, and you know, like an example, in sports, there's many of them, and I just listened, happened to read one this morning. It just popped up. Mike Janik, he was an Olympic and World Cup downhill skier, and I thought it was 1 year. What I'm going to say, I thought it was 1 year, and I just happened to read it this morning, and here it was that he had spent 3 years as a World Cup skier. He was ranked between 4th and 5th. He was back and forth between 4th and 5th as the best in the world. Okay? He had treatment on his back every day while skiing for 3 years. Do you hear me? 3 years. Got that? I did the process with him. I did the process with Mike Janik, one-on-one, okay, as we were preparing for the Olympics in 2010, I think. Anyway, in the next year, he never went once for a treatment. Now, how crazy is that? Every day for 3 years and none for the next year. Now, you'd pretty near think that that would be something that would spread to the whole community of athletes having that happen. But it didn't, because they're afraid of the unknown. You know, it's like just crazy thinking. And so yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened with Mike. And whether it was Olympic swimmer, swimmer, yes, Olympic swimmer, and Olympic rowing, they were anticipated to be 5th, and they won a gold medal. And that was only 1 out of the 8 in the shell. Yeah, like that's the difference. Like crazy amazing. That's the difference. And you know, I was on the PGA with Ian Leggett, and he was just constantly having injuries, and he was just playing out the last of his career. And I work with him, and the next thing you know, he's in the playoffs. He's in the playoffs on Sunday. And it was like, that's how, and this is for you about this somebody recognizing you for your shift or your change, transformation, or whatever. It happened to be, here he is on the PGA, and he's a friend of the co-CEO of a very large corporation called Research in Motion. And the co-CEO's name was Jim. And he saw all these changes in Ian. And he called him up and said, "What in the hell's happening here, man?" Actually, he didn't say hell because he didn't curse. Didn't say anything blasphemy. And I asked him, like, "How are you doing that?" Oh, this guy in Vancouver. He does this weird stuff, but it works. Well, I don't care if it's weird or not. Give me his name. So the next thing I know, I got a call. So, uh, I got this and this and this going on. Can you deal with that? Yep. How about this and this? Yep. How about this and this and this? Yeah, I got that. Okay, this one here. And he told me, I said, yeah, okay. Okay. What's the cost when we start? 3 days later, he was in Vancouver. Okay, a billionaire. And all of a sudden, his company went from 6.8 million to 6.8 billion to 68 billion. How's that for a trajectory? A trajectory. And that all had to do, well, most of it had to do with Jim, because he was the leader. And yes, he sent, I don't know how many, 120 people to me or more. They're all C-class or senior VPs or whatever. And because the results were like, they were instant. They were instant. When Jim came to see me, he had his eyes were covered because he, metaphorically, he didn't want to see what was going on. Yeah. And after we're finished that day, the second time we met, he just took the bandages off and that was it. So I'm like, it's crazy how there's not thousands and thousands, but what I'm saying is, for you, that somebody recognizes you and recognizes your changes, it would be like Jim and Ian. It's like Jim saw Ian and couldn't believe the results. And 2 days later, Jim called me. That's how that happened. That's how that happened. And Jim sent me 120 people at a far, far, far larger amount than what we're talking about now. Much larger. And there was no problem paying it because of how dramatic the shifts were with everyone that took the process. So whether that's in business, whether that's in health, whether that's whatever it may be, confidence, whatever those physical symptoms are. So yeah, that's how we see it, Jamie and I, of how to get this out there is to show others what this is like. How do we do that? We did something for you at the financial commitment of 0, so that you could have that experience, so that others could see that, like Jim saw it in Ian, and reach out and sign up for the program. So doesn't that make sense? Like it's such a win-win. Would you agree? It's like a win-win. You get to see your friend or your neighbor or your relative or your spouse or your children. Yes, kids take this. Kids take this. Yeah, they do. And it's crazy. And I shared this one because it's pretty full on intense. What it was this guy had well, he had stage 4 cancer. They took x-rays and he had such a bulge in his colon that they couldn't get the colonoscopy through or whatever to take pictures. And it was just that big. And anyway, So I had gone to see him for that purpose. And they had two boys. Were he was either 9 or 10, the oldest, and the other one was 5. And the 5-year young had Rubinstein-Tabby syndrome. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd never heard tell of Rubinstein-Tabby syndrome. And so I had gone to see the father at their home, and his wife was there, and the youngest boy was there. The oldest boy went to school, and anyway, the first time we met, it was I worked strictly with him, and then the second time I was there, his wife said, would you try doing something with my son? And then she said, he's got Rubinstein-Tabby syndrome, and he can't sit still. He's got a 3-second attention span, and he's got this small amount of extra memory or whatever in school, so he, hard to retain things and whatever. And I said, no, I forget her name right at the moment. I'm not claiming to have any kind of an expertise with kids. Well, Don, just work with. I said, listen, I never even heard tell of Rubinstein-Tabby syndrome. And Don, oh yeah. So here he had a 5-second attention span, and he could only say 3-second attention span and 5 words in the alphabet. That was the extent of it. I said, well, okay. So don't expect anything. Do not expect anything, because I am no specialist in working with children. And she said, just, Don, do whatever. Here's my son. Here's my son. Just do something with my son. And so, and the interesting thing was, they had a condo, and there was an upstairs to it. And Alistair was his name, I believe, or Ashton. And anyway, he would always stay upstairs. But when I started coming, he would come downstairs to be in the kitchen when we would talk before I would start doing the work. It was quite interesting. So he was able to pick up what it was that I had, and didn't have any articulation of it, of course. So anyway, finally I gave in. I gave in under the condition, don't expect anything. Do not expect anything. Okay, said, okay, no problem. And so I worked with her son. I think it was half hour, 20 minutes. I think it was 10 days or 2 weeks. I'm not sure. Either 10 days, 2 weeks. It's been a while. So, the teacher wanted to know what was going on. And it turned out that he was able to recite the full alphabet, start to finish, in order. And that day when I went to see them, so here's the husband and his wife and Ashton, their son, sat with her. And he sat there for 2 hours and 20 minutes and never budged. And we're talking about a kid that couldn't sit any longer than 3 seconds. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing, like just amazing. And I didn't do the usual, because first of all, I didn't know. I never said I know how to work with children. I never said any of that. I just did what came to mind and just linked both hemispheres of the brain, just energetically, and just did different things, and yeah, it's those stories that you know, that are really heartwarming to me, that those things happen. So anyway, so there's uh, what did I do instead of the usual? Well, are you talking about others' usual or my usual, Amy? So that's
with the kids.
well, what's that, Amy?
With the kid, like what did you do instead of usual? I have like my niece autism and yeah, like that'll be amazing
Has
to
what?
find out.
Sorry?
Autism.
Your son has autism?
My niece, like
Oh, your
he's like
niece.
they both have autism. One is 3, the other one is 5.
Okay. Okay. Well, once again, though, at that age, they're not going to be able to give you the feedback or anything. So basically what I did was the biggest thing that I did was that I just energetically held both sides of the hemispheres of the brain and just held that there and did some tapping. And that's all I can recall I did. I'm so intuitive, like I'm not doing things intellectually. I'm just doing things as it comes to me. And that's the one thing that I remember doing, is linking the both hemispheres of the brain, left and right. Yeah. And
Wow.
stopping the label. Not it's like, okay, we got something going on in the brain. There's a left brain and a right brain, and whatever that might be. And so to do that, you need to be able to hold that, the highest vibration of your own light, for that to work, to transfer from you through your hands into the, I just intuitively was led to going like this to the son, to the boy. That was it. Because I mean, what am I going to ask someone that's 5 that, you know, I just asked the mom about some of the programs and patterns, and she would say some of the things for me that made sense to him. Yeah. And it happened almost instantly, like in a couple of days. In a couple of days, all that happened. That whole being able to recite the alphabet. And yeah, the teacher wrote home and said, "Wow, like what happened to your son?" Yeah. So once again, I don't go anywhere. This is what I'm going to do, other than, like I said, with a pro athlete, I'm going to extract like a recipe in a cake, their best game, worst game, and average game. Yeah. So I don't know if that's of any help.
Yes, and thank you, Dan. My ego is asking me, thinking, can I do that to my husband? So I'll just hold my 2 hands on his face. Sorry.
Try it while he's sleeping, okay?
Thank
That
you.
way there won't be any pushback. Make sure you did it on you first.
Got it.
Yeah. So so that's how that works. Yeah. So and the focus is on us, not on our partners, not on our kids first. It's like on us. Let's clean this up first. Let's clean my own programs up first. Okay. That's how that works. Okay. And know that it's not intellectual. It's not how these get created. So reversing it intellectually is an exercise in futility. Okay. Just like I just noticed the Tiffany put inchworm and the green inchworm. And good luck talking to the 3 ladies that were screaming and yelling because of this green earthworm that I eventually put on my hand. And I said, is this the one you're terrified you're going to die from? Okay. Like, good luck using logic in that situation. There's not a hope in hell that you're going to get any kind of a logical response. Okay. So that's what we're talking about. It's not logical. There's no reason to it. None of that makes logical sense. Because think about being in the womb when you got that message, such as me, when I'm just trying to remember how that went. Oh yes. So my mom and dad, first child, died at 4 months. Died at 4 months. And every single one of the remaining 9 that were born by mom, same dad, okay, oh no, this one's going to die too. There's the program. Now, whether that was a month after birth, month after conception, 3 months after conception, 5 months after conception, just before birth, 3 weeks after birth, whatever it is, it's non-logical. But it was like, boom. It was imprinted by mom at some time in the womb after she recognized that she was pregnant. Does that make sense to the listener? Anybody? So that's how this works. That's how this works. Okay? So you're not dealing with things intellectually at all. It's not the program. Let me see. What I see is the ego equals physical injury among other reactions. Not sure, Paul. That doesn't make sense to me, what you're saying there. But you might want to reword that a little bit. Not sure what you're saying, actually.
Hi, Don. I guess what I was gleaning from your examples and the work that you've done with the various people was that once you dealt with the phobias, or once you identified them, I was feeling that the reveals could be very different depending on what they're to them, their awarenesses would have increased in whatever field that they wanted to excel in. And see, I was having a hard time putting that into words. And so I felt that it managed to connect them more to what was underlying their maybe their permanent state of injury, like the skier that you spoke about.
Well, they're always connected. The injuries, the physical symptoms, whether it's cancer or a sore back, or whatever it is, there is an emotional factor going on, a neuro-emotional factor happening that created them to begin with. Okay, and so it's that's how it works, and it's the how it's played out, we're not planning that. How it gets played out is the neurological system and the program that we have set up in our system as to what the belief is. All it is I'm not enough, and the ego takes that and runs with it, and I'll prove to you you're not enough. Here's how we're going to do that. That's how it does it.
Great. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Vanessa, Don, please, can you talk about the impact of the words we use, as you often ask people to reframe the way they say things? Yeah, like it has to be accurate. It has to be accurate. That's how it is. So it's like, you know, once again, just that I'm almost have to be in a, like somebody saying something and I will correct it rather than trying to remember something. That's the way I roll. It's like, okay, you did it, I would have said this. Like, was it Amy? I did the coding for the money.
Yes.
You know, like, yeah. So just like that, it's like, okay, she's got this money issue going on. And just start asking questions. It's like, what's the coding for money? And which was different than, I forget what the other two were that I used as comparisons. I'm not into memorizing. I'm just into, in the moment, whatever's going on, it just comes to me intuitively. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So morning and morning. Yeah, morning and morning. Yeah. It's the old coding to your young is the new coding. Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't use old. I don't do age. I don't do that. You know, as an example. As an example. And I don't know how many people a week ask me how young I am, or you look, especially the team, you look younger today than you did yesterday, or whatever. So like, and that's, of course, I'm doing a lot more around my younging, but that's one of the things I don't do. I'm 30 years old. No, bullshit. Like if you think about a child being 2 years old, okay? Crazy. I'm 2 years young. I'm 3 months young. I'm 40 years young. Yeah. I have people all the time asking me what age I am. And I've had people, I'm in the, what do you call them here? Where you go to a lineup. You're going to a lineup and it's like, no, not a medical, what is, huh? Seniors, the seniors lane. Yes. Disabilities and seniors and whatever. Priority, yeah. And so I'd be standing in that line and people are coming up to me asking me for proof that I'm a senior. Yeah, quite a compliment. So so once again, coming back to Vanessa, yes, I'm very, very cautious, cognizant of the language I use when I'm talking to people and when I'm talking to myself. You know, love, money, and worth were the three I wrote down a few nights ago, if I caught you right. Yes. And once again, money is not in the category of love and worth. It's an example of how we do the love and the worth. And almost exclusively, the worth has linked to worth. Okay? And so whatever I did, then it was like, okay, here's the coding for your love, here's the coding for your worth, and now here's the coding for your money. And so all of a sudden now it's like, I forget what it was, something about distance, or once again, I'm in the moment, you guys. I'm not memorizing things. It's all intuitive. All this wisdom I have inside, it's just there. And when somebody says something, it gets activated. That's why me memorizing things and trying to tell, like, it's not my number one way of communicating this. It's like, okay, ask me a question. Ask me a question and I'll tell you. It's like a bank of wisdom that gets activated by asking a specific question for that specific person, for that specific situation. And I'm not doing a memorization at all. So there you have it. So that whole asking Amy the question of her coding for the money, there's not a hell in high water that she is going to allow much money to come into her life. Impossible. There's no attraction subconsciously. Just wasn't going to happen. Okay, and by shifting that, I don't know if, even though we didn't do all of the pieces around it, we did a few. There may have already been some changes, Amy.
Yes, there is. I wake up with sales.
You wake up with sales.
Yes.
Isn't that what a coincidence? Do you think you had anything to do with that? I can't hear you.
Thank you. Yes.
No. Do you think you had anything to do with that?
I think it's not just me.
Bullshit. You were creating the old program, you changed the old program to this system, and everything started. Now, whether somebody else had something to do with it after, but it was you, that 100%, it was you. And once again, you avoiding taking responsibility for that is another one of your pieces.
Wow.
Got that?
Yes.
Good. And you'll remember that?
I did it 100% me.
Yes. Got it?
Yes, thank you.
Clear?
Clear.
Okay, see, like that's an example of words and how we are creating these energies around us. Okay, got that? Okay.
I do have a question though.
You go ahead, girl.
Thank you so much, Dan. I brought my friend here who watched the replay when you work on me the other day, and she was like, I see what you do, and then I just don't get like how in the end like you get to shift that rock to a cloud. I just don't get it. And then I couldn't explain it because it's like when you are asking me question, all of a sudden it just lift. And so I was like, okay, come to the call and ask yourself.
Well, first of all, there's your answer, Amy. That's how you bring your friends or your family or your husband or your whoever's into this system for them to have an experience so that they can have a transformation, so they can have the same. Answering one simple question is not how it's done. It's like Ian Leggett on the PGA Tour, all of a sudden, he's in the playoff every weekend instead of one every 10 weeks or 5 months. And one of his close friends recognized that transformation. And Ian didn't tell Jim anything other than This is the guy, he's in Vancouver, here's his phone number. Only you're saying, this is a process that's available to you to do this.
Mhm.
And that's how that works. And then you will have a nucleus of people in your circle that will start talking this language, will start living this language, and they will do the same for their friends and family and their boss and their workmates and whatever. Okay? So,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and I'm thinking about all the other ego questions at the same moment of
The other, the what? The ego question? Did you
ego
say?
questions. Yes.
Okay,
Like,
name one. What?
do I have to finish the whole sequence of the question that you're talking about?
No.
Or is
No.
this like, okay, this is
You're
it?
not doing the work. You're getting them into the process for them to experience what you experience.
Mm.
This is not set up to train the trainer. We're not training the trainer here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm
You
not
have-
thinking about them. I'm thinking about me.
Okay. So tell me, then I say a little more so I'm clear.
So I'm thinking about, okay, I got this piece and it's magnificent that how like I wake up to sales coming in. And then
Yeah.
at the same time, it was like, oh, you didn't do the whole process. Like there's a sequence of questions. I'm like, okay, do we have to do the sequence of questions to be like fully abundant? That's the ego question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because you already had it, Amy.
Yes.
How did that happen if you didn't?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an example of how the ego twists things, get you
Mhm.
confused, those kind of things. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. It was this
Thank you,
simple.
Dan.
I asked you the coding for what were the three things? I forget. I forget
My
what was going
husband,
on.
my kids,
Oh, yeah,
kids, and money.
right. Yeah, husband, kids, and money. And how
Yeah.
different was the coding for the money in your case?
Very different. It was a
Good.
solid rock and 3 feet away.
Yeah, so now think about this, just for everybody, the listener that mightn't have been on the call, Amy.
Mhm.
Imagine you having this boulder, okay, 3 feet
Yeah.
away, and no matter which direction you went, it stayed at 3 feet away,
Exactly.
okay? And even if you got it, you couldn't do anything with it because it's so heavy,
Yes.
because it's a boulder energy. And remember, whatever that is in in your mind's eye is how your system is dealing with it. It's like, so here's this big boulder that's 3 feet away. The closer I get to it, it's still 3 feet away. Agreed?
Yes.
So what's the chances of you having any amount of money with that coding?
0.
Exactly.
Well, I might
Exactly.
pick up some pebbles.
Yeah, and what'll happen is the ego will allow you to pick up enough pebbles to think it's working.
Mm.
That's how it works. Remember, you're ingenious, and the ego is using your ingeniousness against you.
Wow.
You get that?
Yeah.
So if you weren't so damn smart, you wouldn't have this problem. Get it?
Yeah.
If you weren't so creative, it would be different. And so, is there a boulder there today?
No, it's like a fluffy pillow.
A fluffy pillow. And what's inside that fluffy pillow?
Money, abundance, love, joy, everything.
Yes. You did that. Isn't that exciting? How long did that take us, Amy?
one conversation, like.
And
you
how long was the
took
conversation?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. How amazing is that?
Quite phenomenal.
It is quite phenomenal. Imagine all of your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, and everybody experiencing this way of life, interacting with the world, whether it's with their children, like Noah, his beautiful little 2-year young daughter, going like this, saying "I am," just by watching her dad. Imagine a 2-year young going like this, saying "I am." Imagine that.
Can we do that for our kids ourselves?
Well, let's put it this way. You're not going to harm them. Imagine
You're not
having
gonna have what?
harm them.
Okay.
Imagine having a game. Say, "Oh, what color is this? What color? Where's your best friend? Where do you see your best friend? Is it on your left or your right? How close or how far away? Is it in color or is it in black and white? Is it moving or is it still?" You ask all these wonderful creative questions. And you're pulling apart the coding in the person's mind.
Thank you, because I did that with my daughter, and then I'm like, should I have done that? But what happened was
Stop. Okay, you're going to have to decide whether you're going to listen to your ego or your divinity.
Wow. Thank you.
Got it?
Yes.
Because it was your ego that said, "Should I have done that?" Creating doubt. Okay? So if you're going to ask those ridiculous questions by the ego, you might want to do it with your divinity and see if the answer is any different.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Got it?
Yeah.
And guess what? It doesn't matter the language, does it, Amy?
Yes.
Not at all.
So the experience was magical, by the way. My daughter is having nightmares for the past weeks and scared to sleep. And then I show her the thing, and then I told her like, picture yourself as a light going bigger and bigger. And then I asked her in the morning, "Do you have nightmares?" She said, "No."
Now, did you write that down anywhere, Amy?
No. Oh yes, in my diary.
Okay.
In my diary, not in the chat. In my own pocket diary.
Okay. Well, you need to keep track for your own personal benefit, those kind of things that are happening for you. Because some of them are so slight. And it's like, wow, that's what happened. What happened to my daughter? This is what happened with this. This is what happened with money. So that you can give you credit for what you're doing in this program. And tell me who you wouldn't want to have in your circle know about this. Amy?
No one. I want everyone to know about this.
There. When are you going to tell them?
I'm telling everyone already. So I got one person today too.
Perfect. That's it, Amy. That's it. How amazing this is. Okay?
Thank you.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Okay. So that's an example. Very exciting as to the mushrooming of this and how simple it is, and yet, and how powerful it is. And it, you know, I waste no time when somebody says, well, that's impossible to get that done. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, don't bother. Like, never mind. Just, it really, it's only for those that, wow, that's interesting. How did he do that? Or how did I do that? And imagine a third of the planet getting this. Imagine that. How bright would the light be on the planet? Do you think that movie that I just saw for about 3 minutes or 2 minutes this morning of these Sherman tanks, the Americans and the Russians and whatever, and killing each other? Do you think that would happen if they were all in this? I don't think so. Okay? So that's how the wars get stopped, and starvation gets stopped, and the greed gets stopped. Yeah, it's replaced with our divinity. And it's limitless. It's limitless. No, we don't need half of the planet. Is that a third or a half? We only need a third of the planet. No, we don't need a third of the planet. We don't need a quarter of the planet. Okay? You need 114 people at 700. 114 at 700. That's it. And all 8 billion will shift. Okay? And what's that? Yes, all questions have opened up another door for me. And what's that, Nadia? What's that other door that got opened for you?
Hi.
Yeah,
there you are. Oh, my hair's a mess. It's just a step closer to where I want to be. So I just
one
get
step?
closer and closer.
Huh?
One step.
One, huh?
Yes.
One step. Are you sure it's only one step?
Well, yeah. I did the process online here with you back a few sessions, and I didn't get like immediate light. I had the times when I felt like I was with God, and then
I'm going to correct you. You recognizing that you are God.
Yes, and that I recognize I'm God. Hang in, there's noise in the background. So what was I going to say? So the step closer is like to be able to stay in the moment more by recognizing
how much more, like one thousandth of a second more?
Well, like today, I'd say it's been a week, 2 weeks since we did it. And today, for the first time in 3 years, I finally felt the love and joy when I looked at the clouds. I used to always enjoy nature and immediately be able to just look at clouds and feel, or the sky in general, and feel that presence of divinity, not so much in me, but capable of being part of my life. And so now I finally felt it again today, and enjoyed it and welcomed it.
Okay. So question, Nadia.
Yes.
Question, Nadia. Who did that? Who did it a week ago or 10 days, whatever that number was? And who did it today?
I did. And I did.
Who didn't do it before?
Me.
Very good. Any particular reason you would do that, Nadia? Why would you not allow this into you instantly?
I don't know.
No, stop. Time. Yes, you do know.
Oh, okay.
What's the worst thing about?
I was allowing myself to Feeling like a victim of the world.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
How long do you want to hold on to a victim identity, Nadia?
I don't at all.
Yes, there's a part of you that does. For the last 2 weeks, you did that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
dragged the victim with you.
Yes. Yes, I do. I did.
Yes, you did.
And
How long do you want to do that?
Not
Nadia?
at all. No more. Gone.
Because you can take the program 28 times, but if you still have an attachment to being a victim, forget it. It's not going to work.
I don't want that attachment to being a victim. I do
Well,
not
I'm
want
telling
any
you,
part.
listen, I'm
Yes.
telling you, you still have value to being a victim. So my
Okay.
question to you, what's the best thing about being a victim? Get out of your head. Get out of your head. Just give me that first answer.
Oh,
What's the
I have an
best thing?
excuse. I have an excuse to eat and drink.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. How long do you want to be obese and alcoholic?
No more. Done.
Are you sure?
I'm
Because
sure.
you can ask Sam. You can
Yeah.
ask Sam how successful he was by not giving up those programs and how
Programs,
long
right.
it took him because he didn't surrender.
Okay.
So you cannot have a crazy, amazing divine goal of being in your divine light and still I'm going to drink and I'm going to, what was the other one?
Eat. Overeat.
Oh yeah, eat. Overeat and drink. Okay?
Yes.
Because
Right.
now it could be 10 other things, but they're all under the umbrella of my identity is victim.
Yes. Yes.
And you're holding on to that to one degree or another. Still.
Okay. I want to let go of it. How? Okay.
Okay.
Never mind. I know how.
No,
It's done.
everybody,
No.
everybody's going to benefit from this.
Okay.
Everybody that's listening is going to benefit from this. And this is not about, okay, because I'm not looking at what behavioral thing do I need to do here. Okay?
Yeah.
What intellectual thing do I need to do here? That's not what this is.
Okay.
Okay? Because there is a difference between Dr. David Hawkins and the amazing information he gives, but it's at an intellectual level.
Yes.
And it takes forever to integrate it. Okay? I'm talking about something different. As powerful as Dr. Hawkins' stuff is, it's how do we shift that? How do we change it? So have a look at the Nadia that's a victim on the left.
Mm-hmm.
See what she looks like. See the energy around her. What's
Ooh.
the color? Yeah, ooh is right. What's the color? What's
Gray.
the color of gray?
No color.
Yeah, and how small and insignificant is that?
Yes.
Energy. Yes. Got it? And how
Yes.
closed is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
It's totally closed. Alone,
Yes.
crying.
Yes.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
How long do you want to do that? Carry that toxic identity with you?
I don't want anything to do with that.
Well, now, just before we go further, there's a part of you that has a positive intention about keeping that. What are you always hoping to achieve by having that? I trust everybody's listening.
I believe to be noticed, I guess. To get credit. Actually, it's to get credit for something.
And then that will give me what?
Love.
Thank
Well,
you. Wonderful.
yeah.
Now, tell me, how long you been doing this, Nadia? Program?
68 years.
68 years. And in that 68 years, how much love did you receive from doing that?
None. No, I got
If you,
some, but
no,
yeah.
listen, put it in a container of some sort. Like,
Oh,
is it
okay.
a thimble or like a pitcher or, you know, a gallon? Like, what is it?
I
What
would
size?
say I got a
Over 68 years, how much? How much did
cup.
you receive? A cup.
1 cup full.
One measuring cup.
Yes.
Agreed? 68
Agreed.
years.
Mhm.
Agreed?
Yes.
Now put that over on the left.
Okay.
You see it over on the left, over on the counter or whatever, on the table or whatever.
Okay.
There. Now,
1 cup.
in that moment that you were in your divinity, correct?
Okay. Yes.
You remember that?
For a little second, but
No,
yes.
I don't know. Never mind. Do
was
you
in it.
remember? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and have a look at that you. In your divinity. What she look like? Tell us what she looks like, Nadia.
She's light and rosy.
Yeah, she's light
Yes.
and rosy.
Yes.
And how open is her heart chakra?
It's wide open with light flowing from it.
Yes, and how much worth is she, knowing she's divine?
She's worthless. I mean, yeah, there's no worth attached. Unlimited.
That's
Unlimited.
right. There is no worth attached to it.
Right. Right.
She's divine. Divine.
Yes.
Did you get that?
I feel it totally now.
Yes.
I do.
So now you get to
Yes.
decide right now, before we do anything,
Yes.
which identity do you want? Do you want the identity of who you truly are or the ego identity?
I want the truly rosy light identity.
And by the way, my second wife, her name was Rosie.
That's nice.
Yeah. So which is it going to be?
The light, Rosie, my real identity, the divine me.
Yes.
I choose the divine me.
And I'm going to tell you, in the little bit of time that you allowed yourself to be in that before the ego took it back away again,
Yeah.
you had more of what you were looking for in moments than you did in 68 years with the ego.
Yes, I feel it. Yes.
Isn't that crazy? And
yes.
you still did it.
Yes.
So what's it going to be, Nadia?
Nada. Yes.
What?
It's
Nada.
pronounced Nada. Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies. Nada.
No, it's okay. Yes, totally. I choose divinity, open, light, loving heart. I choose my divinity.
Is that for like 10 minutes or for the rest of your life?
No, for the rest of my life. Thank
Starting
you.
when?
I
Nope,
feel
stop.
open now. Now
Okay.
it's done.
How would you
It's
like to
done.
keep this? How
I
would you like to
do.
keep this?
I would
Can you
totally
have
like
both?
to keep it.
No, can you have both?
No, no.
Which is it going to be?
The divinity, the light.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm positive.
Because it's going to be a hell of a hard job to reverse this when I do this next piece.
I am absolutely sure.
Okay. So see the ego.
See the
it over
ego.
there. Yeah, see it over there, all crunched up in
a gray mass.
Yeah, put that color and shape to it.
Yeah.
Now listen carefully to this next question. Was that ever you?
No.
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 You only it was. The ego convinced you it was.
Yes.
So it's okay to let that illusion go, knowing it was never you.
Yes, I do let it go.
Okay,
And it was never me.
No, and it never was you. Isn't that crazy amazing? What color are your eyes?
Blue.
Blue. How long have they been blue?
Always.
Huh? How would you like your divinity to be connected to your blue eyes?
Yes, my divinity is with me. There's my eyes.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah.
So is it okay to let the ego energy go?
Yes, I let it go.
Do you deserve to be in your light?
I deserve to be in
or do you need
my divine light.
Or do you need to punish yourself anymore?
No, I'm done.
Are you sure now?
I'm sure.
Okay. So put a color and a shape to that ego energy.
Yes.
Put it in a bubble, a big hot air balloon. And all of the patterns, all the programs, and all the behaviors that you did for 68 years, put it all in the balloon.
Okay. All in there.
Tell me when yeah.
Yes.
You ready to let it go?
I am.
So thank it.
Thank you.
Let it know it doesn't have any, there's no more room for it anymore.
There's no more room. Thank you.
Yeah.
I release you.
Thank you for me being in enough pain to find my divinity.
Thank you for being enough. Thank you. I release you now.
Yes.
You brought me here and I'm done. Yes.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes.
You got it all in that bubble, all that balloon, and all the behaviors for 68 years in that balloon having to do with you being a victim.
Yes.
All of them. You ready?
All of them. Yes.
What happened? Yeah.
Oh, I feel my eyes opening, vibration all over. It's really
divine.
It's very, very amazing. And yes.
Okay.
I feel it.
Are you ready? Yeah, you bet. Are you ready to keep this?
I am demanding to keep this. It's all mine. I have every right to it.
Yeah, just like the color of your eyes.
Yes.
So take your thumb and first finger, right hand, representing your divinity.
I'm putting my phone down to listen to you.
Yeah.
Oops. There.
Okay.
Yes.
Take your thumb, little finger, left hand. And in your left was the victim energy that you allowed yourself to believe was you for 68 years.
Yes.
Is it okay to let that false identity go, knowing it never was you?
I let this go. It never was me.
Yeah, just see it go with the balloon that's already burst. Let that finger go. Shake your hand, left hand. Link your thumb, first finger, left hand. Link them together like a chain link fence. Now you have 100 trillion cells, give or take a couple of dozen. Okay? And it represents who you truly are. Your divinity. Are you ready to fully embrace your divinity?
Yes. I fully embrace it.
Good. Are you ready for the command?
Yes.
With authority, say these two words. I am.
I am.
Congratulations, Nadia. Whatever way you spell your name, pronounce your name.
Thank you.
What is it? Nada. Got it. And what's this? How open is your heart? How large is your heart energy?
It's through the house.
Yeah. How much worth are you?
I'm worth. You can't put a number on my worth.
You are 1,000% correct.
Yes. Yes.
1,000% correct. There is no way to measure this worth that you now are. And how invincible are you, my dear?
I'm a conqueror. That's it.
Yes, you are. You damn well better start conquering.
Yes.
And how free do you feel knowing that you have finally let go of that victim energy that was never you?
This is the first time, and I've done, like everybody else, millions of programs. There was nothing that actually I could shake it. It was always there.
Yep.
Every, you know, it was there. It's like it was insidious. It just
it would
creep in even on the happy times.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This is good.
Is it just good? Come on.
I mean, no, this is amazing. Sorry. And you know, I'm babysitting my grandchildren right now. They're upstairs playing videos.
Wonderful. Well, it'll be interesting to see the responses from your grandchildren.
Yeah.
Seeing your energy field.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Don. And the community. And thank you, the community.
And the community. Yeah. And the community.
Get it, Nada?
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, everyone, do you see how I only asked questions pertaining to this? And then finding out what it is, and then shifting it neurologically and cellularly. Okay? And so, how exciting is that, you guys? How exciting is this? Imagine having your family and your friends and your co-workers and your whatevers having this experience and you being responsible for introducing them to it. Imagine that. Okay? Got it? Is there a song that we have that could play for what's her name? Nada. Okay, just hang on here for a sec. We're going to play a song as suggested by Tiffany. And yes, you can all get up and dance. That's okay. It's audio. Hang on a sec. We're on it. Perfect. Okay. So this is Tim. You know Tim, he's been playing these songs for us. Tim took the program in December 31st, 2020, I think it was. Okay. And so I Am Avatar, and the first one he played was I Am Divine, and then he did one Letting Go. And now this is his third one written in his divinity. It's just audio at the moment.
eyes of the morning stars, love expanded, infinite, come to earth, a hero's journey, finding what has always been, finding what has always been, finding what has always been. Feel me now, I am the avatar. No ego here remains. I've washed away my pain, and now I am alive again. My power is insane, ineffably contained. No darkness here remains. Creator, come again. Illuminate forevermore. All born again, as it's always all is love. All is love. All is love. All is
Wow. Awesome. Everybody get that?
Woo!
How's that, you guys? Pretty
That was
awesome.
a dope. That was a dope song.
I'll do one back to you.
Yeah. Manja, manja, manja.
When Tim took the process on December 31st, 2020, he laughed hysterically for 20 solid minutes. Laughed hysterically for 20 solid minutes after he did that. And the next day he wrote the first song, which was I'm Divine, Letting Go. And then he wrote the one of I'm Divine. And now this is his third one. I am Avatar. So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Okay, so now, once again, Can you see in your circle those that you would love to have this experience? Imagine that. Okay? Okay, so that's what this is about. That everyone, this spreads so rapidly that everyone gets to experience this. Okay? So there you go. You got your relatives and you got your friends and you got your coworkers and you got your whatevers. And to introduce them to this and have them experience this such as you'd have. And what's her name? No. Nada just had. Okay? It's not exciting. That's how we do this. And you do that. We continue doing this. And that light and that vibration just is going to get brighter and larger and stronger to lift humanity's conscience out of its darkness. And that's our responsibility. Everyone on this call. That's our responsibility. Okay? That's your payback. Clear? Everybody clear on this? Very exciting. Very exciting to see what just happened. So anyway, there we have it for the day. Very excited for all of you. And it was wonderful to have a live example of Nadi. Listen, sorry about the names, guys. I'm going to butcher them.
Nada.
Nada, got it. Hey, so for Nada, that's amazing. 68 years of guilt and shame of being not good enough, gone. 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Tell that to a counselor or a therapist. Okay? So that's how different this is. That's how different this is. And yes, there are pieces to holding. There's all those kind of things. But hey, there you have it. So you take care. See you tomorrow. We are making some adjustments here, and we'll keep you posted as to what those adjustments are. And away we go.